All right, guys. So this is Eli. He's the CEO of Cloud Profit Scaling Secrets, and he has generated over nine figures in info consulting. And he was the ex head of marketing and sales for Andrew Tate. So he's super successful, knows his stuff, like one of the best people in the space. And Eli, it's a pleasure to have you on here today.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you, man. All right. So I think, first of all, I know we've done one of these episodes before. I think let's just give them another reintroduction. Like, who are you and what have you done?
Sure. So my name is Eli Pampa. I'm the former head of sales and marketing for Cooperative from 2021 to 2023 during Tate's peak profitability and virality, mind you. My team members then went over to work for Luke Belmar and they scaled Capital Club as well to about $11 million as well. Later on, we worked with Champ Graham. We scaled his offer to over $500,000 a month. That's doing now 8 figures per year. We've worked now with Hustle Philip Johansson, and we just launched a new VSL for him that's going to crush. The previous offer with the same offer did $27 million last year. So we made it even better this time. So we're going to have some success with it as well. And we've worked with a lot of smaller people as well now who have joined my program called Cloud Profit Scaling Secrets. A lot of guys making 5 figures in their first 30, 45 days, something like this. And then over a few months, they make 6 figures and whatnot. And just in general, like people who implement my stuff get success. So I'm very happy to be here and share more about my methods.
Yeah, man, I'm sure we'll get super deep into this later on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, I think it'd be interesting to just kind of break down like what was it that you were actually doing for the real world, which was Tate's offer, and how did you guys scale that up to the extent that it got to?
Yeah, so I'll give you a quick rundown as to how I got into working with Tate and exactly my roles inside of it. I'm never claiming to have made Tate famous myself personally. I never misrepresent what I did. I started off as a salesman, became the number one salesman, became head of sales, managed a sales team, later became head of marketing, worked on funnels, copy chiefing some emails, worked on consulting with the VSL as well, which did 9 figures, obviously, and did a bunch of systems, operations, managing social media accounts. So I did a bit of everything, right? Doing marketing. Obviously, Tate was the guy on camera. He had all the charisma. He had all the skills. He taught me those things as well, directly firsthand, and now I can implement them with my other clients as well. So that was like the basis of how we scaled, obviously, the real world and the war room. The real world did over $129 million in the calendar year, annual recurring revenue. And the war room, which is our high ticket offer, did just under $20 million. So we scaled both of those up. Obviously, through Tate being very viral and famous and selling the lifestyle, selling the dream that he was. He had a cult-like following because he was a cult-like leader. He dazzled people. In the first place, people wanted to build a cult-like following like Tate, and they don't have the accolades, they don't have the speaking ability, they don't have the aura that he had. Right? We're going to talk about aura farming as well later on in this video, I think.
Yeah, 100%. We'll get into a bunch of stuff. Okay, and then in terms of like, well, if you could break down what were the main marketing channels that you guys were using for scaling the real world and the war room as well?
So the number one marketing platform that you can utilize in any year is going to be YouTube because people need to consume you in a longer format. And also there's a very important thing called the hierarchy of influence. So basically, what is the most powerful way to influence someone? The number one way to influence somebody is going to be meeting them in person, looking in their eyes, shaking their hand, and then feeling how they are. Second most powerful way is going to be a call one-on-one, right? Where you can interact. You're going to lose some of that in-person aspect, but you're going to retain a lot of it, right? The third most powerful way is going to be a live stream where people can consume you. They're seeing you in real time. They can ask you questions. You can interact with them. The fourth most powerful way is going to be YouTube videos, right? Where people can obviously hear you. They can see you. They can absorb your ideas. They can still feel some aura through the screen because it's still a real thing. And these are videos that are 10, 15, 20 minutes long. People can binge watch them. They can watch 5, 6, 7, 8 at a time. And if they watch 5, 6, 7, 8 at a time, and you do them properly with the correct selling points, with the objection handles, and with the correct belief systems people need to understand in order to buy from you and follow you, then they're going to be influenced 24/7. You don't have to do work. And when they go enter your funnel, they go book a call or they go talk to one of your closers or your setters. It's much easier than to talk with them and close them because their minds are already so programmed and influenced by what you've been speaking about. Versus you going first on Instagram and just pushing short form content, thinking that clipping and scaling is going to scale your operation. That's not the case. If you don't have the long form to convert them, you're just funneling traffic to nothing basically. So it's much more high leverage to focus on YouTube first to start. And if it's where you're lacking, get that done properly, improve your speaking, improve your charisma, improve the way that you structure your videos and the value that's provided inside, improve the entire funnel. And then later, once you have everything set up, then add gasoline to the fire with short form content.
Okay, so it's kind of a mix of this organic approach where the
Yeah.
short form would then funnel into the long form, which then builds all of that trust. And then from there, obviously, you have, were you guys, what was the funnel you guys were running? Was it just a VSL to straight like purchase, or what was the
Yeah,
funnel?
so the real world was obviously just check out, just go and watch the video, read the landing page, $49. That's a no brainer. You don't need a super complicated funnel for that. Although the whole sell with that is going to be mass market and selling the lifestyle, which Tate obviously did. Now, I don't recommend low ticket to a lot of people. Everybody thinks, oh, the real world did amazing, and we need to launch a low ticket offer, monthly recruiting revenue. That's going to be amazing for me. No, it's not. A community like that is not easy to run, and it doesn't make sense unless you have massive volume, unless you have a huge following. Okay, yeah, then it makes sense. But if you're starting off with 1,000 followers, 10,000 followers, even 50,000 followers, it doesn't make any sense because your churn rate is going to be super high. You're going to have to hire a completely new department into your business to run that whole community for itself. And you're not going to make as much money as you could getting a high ticket client or a customer who is obviously much more invested in the things that you're going to teach them. They're going to actually implement. You're going to get better testimonials. You're going to be happier. You're going to be a higher quality of people that you're going to work with. So I recommend high ticket every single time. So we pushed the traffic towards the short form with short form and the long form towards the low ticket offer direct checkout. But then our high ticket offer upsell that was upsold within the real world, and I'll explain to you how we did it. And there was also just pure go to the landing page and VSL for the war room as well, and talked about loads of times the real world in the war room and all the marketing and the YouTube videos and whatnot, right? But very interesting how we upsold from the real world to the war room was we had people inside the real world asking you, right? These advisors, they would ask you, okay, who is making 10K? Oh, I'm making 10K now. I implemented the secrets. I'm making 10K now. Cool. You want to reach 100K per month? And they're going to be like, yeah, of course I do. Okay, DM me your situation, what you're doing for money, how much you're making right now, and we'll give you a path to reach 100K. Now, this is completely innocuous question. You're like, okay, these guys are trying to help me. I'm paying money, $49 a month, to get these guys to help me how to scale to 100 to 10K, then to 100K. Okay, let's talk with him. Let's talk with John. Okay, so this is my situation. How do I reach 100K? Well, okay, cool. You're doing this business model. You have to scale like this, tweak these things, but you also need a network. Who's your payment provider? Oh, well, this. Okay. How quickly do they get payouts? Or like, who do you have for ads? Or if you're running copywriting, like, do you know how to hire and outsource? It's like little things that, okay, now you need a network for this. You need connections. You need other things. What are you going to do for taxes now? Where are you based? Canada. Okay. You know, Canada taxes you like 40, 45%. Well, yeah, fuck. Do you want to lose that? Well, no. Well, then how do I fix it? Who do you know? Well, I don't know anybody who can solve that for me. Network. Now I need people. Now they still consume the marketing, but they don't directly upsell them inside of the core, inside of the real world. They're like, okay, they install those belief systems in their brain that they need a network. Then they go see the marketing for the war room, and then they're like, wait, this is a network, brotherhood, connections, access. Okay, hey John, there's this thing you guys offer. It's called the war room. Can you tell me more about it? Oh, okay. What do you think the war room is? What have you heard about it? Well, I think it's this. It's amazing. It gives me all the connections I need to scale my business, and not just connections. I need to improve my relationships with women. I need to improve my health. I need to blah 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 blah. They sell themselves now. Now they don't feel like they're getting upsold. You completely eliminate the problem with churn that most low ticket communities have trying to upsell. I see so many communities who have 6 months, 12 months lifetimes because they first start with the low ticket, then they immediately try to upsell everybody to the high ticket as quickly as possible. They do like checkout directly after they sell the low ticket, upsell to the high ticket, try to get more people. Yeah, of course you're gonna make money at the start, but you're gonna burn out your audience super fast. You want the people to love your product at the low ticket and then later on move towards the high ticket, but make it their idea. Whatever somebody can tell themselves, it's 100 times more powerful than whatever you can tell them. So that's the way that we would upsell it. It's fantastic for us.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I know that, like, from our last conversation, that you
Yeah.
guys are kind of probably the best people that I know at like DM setting,
Mhm.
especially with this more like in info at least.
Yeah.
What would you say is like one or two key principles that you guys have when you're trying to DM set, whether that's like trying to sell them onto the real world or onto like the war room, just a general principle with DM sales.
With sales in general, people need to believe that you're an expert. A lot of times people receive DMs from setters, or they go and message a live chat, or they message some agent, and they don't expect much, do they? You're like, okay, I'm going to get some support. Somebody's going to talk to me, a salesman. He's going to read a script. He's going to explain this to me. Does it work? Maybe yes, maybe no. The best closers are the guys who can be perceived as experts, who you speak to them and they're like, wow, this guy knows more about life in every area than me. So that's why the people that we hired for upselling the real world, for selling the war room, for selling all of our products across all of my offers now as well, is they have to be top quality geniuses in everything, not just sales, in communication, in life, in finance, in business. You need the best possible guys if you want to maximize your sales.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And before we get into like how people can actually replicate this system and create their own like marketing plan framework, as well
Yes.
as like how they can do that with I was just curious because I know you worked with Luke Belmar as well. Why he was obviously super successful with his Capital Club offering and all of the crypto stuff, but Tate was probably by an order of magnitude more successful. Why do you think Tate was so much more successful than Luke Belmar?
First of all, I want to clarify that I personally never worked with Luke Belmar. My team members did, however. They moved over from the Covertail operation to the Luke Belmar operation. I had taken a break during this time. I didn't work with Luke Belmar. But nonetheless, the results of my team were very good. Now, the reason why Andrew Tate was more successful than Luke Belmar, we got to look at like side by side, point by point comparison. Like they both are rich. They both have interesting backstories. They both are well spoken. They both have obviously very smart, very articulate ideas, right? So what, and they both have very similar marketing strategies as well. The same guys that generated 99% of the traffic for Cobra Tate went over and they generated 99% of the traffic for Luke Belmar. So then what was the difference between the two? The difference between the two is going to be Tate's aura, for lack of a better term, really. He had more life experiences. He could command attention more. People would take him seriously, more entertaining, more power. And when Tate spoke, you could feel like there was conviction behind his voice, and he was telling you the truth. You could feel like you could trust him. When you listen to Luke Ballmer, no offense to Luke Ballmer, I think he's amazing, but he simply doesn't inspire that same feeling that Andrew Tate did. Right? And there's a variety of factors related to why Andrew Tate was able to do that and Luke Ballmer wasn't in the first place. I can go into those.
How big would you say controversy is? Because I feel like Luke Belmar, he's fairly controversial, but I feel like Andrew Tate was on a whole nother level. How big of a role do you think that had?
Andrew Tate was a guy who could speak to anybody, and he didn't give a fuck. I'm sorry if I can't say swear on this podcast,
No,
but
you can, you can.
he didn't care what he said to anybody. He would step into any room, people would pay attention to him, and he would say things based on what people have told me about meeting Luke Belmar. It's not the same case. He doesn't have that same personal aura, so he would be more controversial because people would listen to him and be like, okay, whoa, who is this guy? What is he saying? It was more of a WTF factor than Luke Ballmer had. And again, that comes down to who you are as a person. And there's specific actions and steps that you can take to become your own version of your maxed out, let's say, aura that Tate would have.
Yeah. So how would you say people could try and I assume that this is kind of a process long term in terms of like we said, building that aura, but is there any specific ways that you think someone could go about building that, or do you think it's just completely natural?
Yeah, so I'll explain because Tate didn't have this naturally. Tate developed this. And now, for example, Tate had to go drive his supercars every single day. He had to, because that was something he truly loved and enjoyed doing every single day. Tate had to go out and party with girls and go sleep with multiple women. He had to do that because that's also part of who he was. So there are certain things in your life right now that you have to do that if you neglect these things, you will be less charismatic, have less aura. And I see these guys all the time who try to get into content, who work all day. I don't know. I know you do LinkedIn. I'm sure it's not the most glamorous, the most exciting thing ever. You're sending messages on LinkedIn, you're setting automation stuff, whatever you're doing exactly. But you're going through it, and then you're like, all right, time to film something. Get on the camera, and then you're boring and you're weird, like you need to go and you dust off the autism. You need to go out, get drunk, party if that's what's required for you. I personally love to play football. I go out there, I come back, I'm a completely new person. I'm more lucid, I'm more happy, I'm more free. I also like to go out, obviously go and date girls, obviously who doesn't, right? But you have to know what these things are for yourself, and you have to make time for them every single day. And then when you go make content, it's going to be super reflective. People are going to be like, okay, this guy is somebody that I can listen to. This guy's entertaining. This guy's light. He's funny. He's charismatic. All of these things. And it's amazing how much effect that actually has on people, right? That's one of the things. Another big aspect is going to be health. There is this thing called nerve force, which is like the energy around us, which is basically the sixth sense that people have in terms of, do I trust this person? Am I going to be influenced by this person? All of these like like aura and feeling that we have around people. And the healthier that we are, the more that we can absorb this around us, the better that we can distribute it within us, and the more that we can project it as well. So health is a huge aspect as well. Being flexible, having that energy flow to your body. So all these things play into it. And there's actually one book as well, which I'm not going to name, which Tate recommended to me, which also Iggy, the guy with the hat, also recommended to me, which goes more into these principles of exactly how you can harness this power. This energy around us. You know, when you go walk into a room, why do people pay attention to you? When you go speak to somebody and you influence them, and what you say doesn't quite make sense, but they still listen to you. Or when you go into somewhere, some interaction, and you're automatically the leader there. Why is that, right? Or here's another interesting example. It's a lion tamer. How does a lion tamer tame a lion? He looks at a lion with his eyes and he keeps him back. He has a little apparatus to keep him at bay, but that doesn't really help, does it? It's the power of the eyes to keep a huge magnetic, energetic beast at bay. So all of these things play into the aura that Tate created for himself. And these are all things that you can replicate for yourself. You can find your own ways, the things that you love to do. You can develop the powers with the breathing exercises, with the aura farming. And ultimately, over time, you're going to reinforce that within yourself, because the more that you believe that it's possible for you to be in the state, the more it gets reinforced and the more that actually becomes true. Your thoughts go towards your actions, and your actions then reflect with results, which then feed back towards your mind in terms of what you believe about yourself as you go through the world. I hope that makes sense. It's a bit of an abstract thing to conceptualize for most people, but obviously Tate is very successful, and you can see the differences between people who have it and people who don't have it.
So then, in terms of somebody else, let's say they're selling info or selling a service, or even like another low ticket product, how would you tell them to go about creating a marketing plan? I know you have a specific framework, and then also how can they utilize AI for it? Because I think that is one of the biggest advantages today that people want to know how to.
AI has completely changed the game, and thank you for asking this question. Previously, it was people like me, other marketing experts, who have to go into your business. We have to look at your branding, your backstory, everything that you are, your accomplishments. We have to define what belief systems people need to understand or to buy from you and to follow you. We'd have to look at the market competition, research them, see what's working, see what's not working, take a look at the context, what topics we want to talk about, what we don't want to talk about, what angles to hit. We had to synthesize all of these things by ourselves. Like, okay, look, you did something when you were 5 years old that relates towards a selling angle today, or this objection can be handled because you did something when you were 18 years old, and this is a great accomplishment. We can play on this angle, we can downplay that angle. Like, it was super tedious task in order to do this, and we still had human error because obviously we miss things. We cannot install urgency every single time. We cannot be like, look, the government is collapsing, the economy is going to die, COVID's going to happen, you're going to shut down the homes are going to get taken from you. Or you're going to literally die and you need to hurry up. Otherwise, you're going to waste time in life. We cannot hit all these angles every single time. We don't remember them. But AI never forgets. AI synthesizes information fantastically, but you need to give it the proper inputs. And I'll go through what these inputs are. They are branding, backstory. Backstory is everything that you are, your life story, your accomplishments, your accolades. Your branding is going to be the main aspects that your brand is based around. For example, a fitness influencer is going to be based around fitness. Maybe a secondary aspect is going to be mindset. A dating coach is going to be primarily relationship. Secondary might be masculinity. Whatever it is for your offer, that's your branding and your backstory. The belief systems people need to understand in order to buy from you and to follow you. The only two actions that you actually need to get people to take. And now what these beliefs are, you need to get people to like you, you need to get people to trust you, you need to get people to believe that your product solves their problem, that your product solves their problem better than the competition, and that they need their problem solved now and not later. So you have, for each of these belief systems, specific actions that you can take in order to make this true. A great example that I like to give to install trust and likability is between Imran Ghazi and Jordan Welch. Imran Ghazi and Jordan Welch went out into the desert in Dubai and they spent the day together. Jordan Welch bought Imran Ghazi a custom vintage Rolex watch. And now Imran Ghazi is a difficult person to get watches for because he has all the watches. But this one in particular, he didn't have. So he was very touched by this gesture. They bro shake, they hugged it out. They shared a very intimate and real moment. But the whole time, the cameras were rolling, capturing this whole event. What do you think that makes the person who's watching this feel? They're like, Imran Ghazi and Jordan Welch, they're good guys. They have friendship towards each other. They have goodwill. They have trust. I can trust them. They're my friends. So what do you think the next time they look at any of Iman's offers, any of Jordan's offers? Now they're like, they're good guys. Let's take a look at what they have to offer. No longer is the grifter or the scammer tag on their foreheads. Now they're good guys that have a solution to my problems potentially. They still need to be sold into the program itself, but you have that likability and trust installed. Now you just have to handle the rest. All of this is done meticulously at the highest level. There is no accident. So this is the belief systems. Have a comprehensive framework and list of every single action that you can take to install every single belief system comprehensively. And we put this into the AI as well. The next one is going to be obviously the market research. You have to take a look at your competition, the top titles that they're performing the best on YouTube, on Instagram. We take all of these because obviously these are getting the most views and they're getting the most conversions as well. You got to know which things are converting the best. Sometimes things have lots of views, things have little views and have lots of conversions. And how can you tell? Well, you got to ask me, right? And that's where you cannot just take this by yourself and try to implement it. You're going to get moderate success, but you need some context, you need some guidance, because I know a lot of people behind the scenes of all the operations. This guy's doing this much money, that guy's doing this much money. Okay, this is converting, that's not converting, etc. There's more nuance to this. So you take the market research, you input into the AI. You also take your own previous successes. If you haven't started a brand, you're not going to have this, of course. But if you have a brand and you want to optimize it, you want to get a better marketing plan, you take your previous successes as well. Now, finally, we have context. And there's a few interesting things you can do with context. Now, context, one of our clients is in the Australian market. I'm not going to name his name, but he had a hit piece made on him, on his, let's just say his done for you offer. I'm not going to name what the offer is, that would give him away. But basically, they were making fake testimonials about him, and he was looking really bad. And what we did is we took those fake testimonials that they made against him on the news, and we put that into the actual prompt itself, and we give instructions on how we can counter that. Okay, we counter disbelief, we did take this angle and spin it in this way. We add that all into the AI. Or for example, for you, Paulo, you're doing obviously LinkedIn lead generation, you're doing a bunch of different things that are more technical. Your content, we're going to tell the AI, don't really focus on lifestyle content. Maybe make one vlog every 2 months or something like this, but focus on presentation videos and focus on value ramp videos. For example, value ramp videos are sitting down in front of the camera and speaking about different topics, and then presentation videos, obviously your face is in the corner, you're talking about a topic with a presentation, explaining concepts, going through proof, testimonials, etc., etc. So for other people, it's going to be different. For other people, they're going to want to sell the dream, sell the lifestyle. They're selling a low ticket offer. They have a bigger audience. To go harder on the lifestyle blogs, you need to talk about, for example, go home to your family and go give your product to your parents, for example, and then get them to try it, see if they can have success. That's a great topic for a video, right? Your upbringing, going and sitting down at dinner with your friends and having an intimate conversation, like all these things planned out perfectly. You put that into the context itself. We're going to focus on this, focus on that instead. And then this AI spits out with 80 to 90% accuracy, 50 YouTube topics, 50 Instagram topic, like whatever platform you want to, it spits out with perfect order the exact topics you need to make in order to, again, install all the belief systems, all the best selling angles, handle all the objections, talk about every topic that you need to talk about. AI does it perfectly. AI is smarter than us, I promise you. Now, there's going to be some tweaks, of course. You change some titles, you move things around, you remove some stuff, you iterate back and forth with the AI. I did this with the AI, and I went back and forth about 5 or 6 times, changing some things, explaining to the AI, you shouldn't include this kind of title because we don't have to push urgency this hard, or we don't have to talk about limited spots, or please don't include the actual name of my program inside of the videos. Not necessary. We can just pitch it inside of the videos. And then the AI learns, and you iterate back and forth 3, 4, 5, 6 times, and then you have a perfect marketing plan. There is zero guesswork, super scalable, right? Any of you guys who are marketers, who work with clients, will benefit massively from this, especially the planning phase. It cuts down your time working on that from usually it takes days to a week, brings it down to about a day. As long as obviously your client, as long as obviously the people that you're working with give you the proper inputs, their branding, their backstory, and that's basically all that's required from them. So it's super good, it's game changer, and we're having very great success with that with our clients as well.
Okay, so I heard you mention like YouTube a few times by now, and I know that you personally, for the current offer you're running, have been using YouTube quite a lot. So I'm just curious to see, first of all, like, why do you think YouTube is so powerful? And I know you already talked about like the long form trust building aspect of it, but specifically like a niche YouTube channel rather
Yes.
than a broad YouTube channel.
Well, first of all, a niche YouTube channel is the best possible online business avenue that you can take. Like, you take advantage of all the obviously YouTube videos themselves, how much more powerful you can influence people. And YouTube itself helps you to target the specific people that are looking for your videos already. So you don't have to grow to a super big channel. You can get 5, 10K, 20K subscribers. You can get all the benefits. Now, in terms of results, obviously you can take ourselves. Our channel has about 7,000 subscribers, something like this, 7,000, 7.5K. We do multi 6 figures per month. And one of my friends who used to work with me at the corporate operation, Daniel McEvoy, his channel has about 30,000 subscribers only, and he makes like $1 million a month, right, with his crypto offer. Our students, Robin Ritter, he did $73,500 his first 45 days. Chris Carmona generated an extra 60K as well. Like everybody who we've put on YouTube has very quickly generated good money because the videos, if they're well made, they reach a big audience quickly, or at least target audience that wants to watch your videos, and they consume the stuff. They get pushed down the funnel. It's just a funnel like anything else. It's just the YouTube algorithm itself favors niche content right now, and you need to take advantage of that.
Okay, for sure. And okay, what would you say, like, if you had to build up your channel from zero, like you're selling an offer to a specific audience, what would be like the first steps you would take, maybe, to get it to that first 1,000 subscribers, 10,000 subscribers?
Yeah, so first of all, subscribers doesn't matter. If you have 1,000 subscribers and there are 1,000 billionaires who are ready to pay you $100,000 each, that's enough. You're going to be very rich off that. Now, obviously, the first thing is going to be this marketing plan that I explained to you previously. You have that, then you have the topics itself. Then you have to just create the videos. You got to master the titles. You got to master the thumbnails itself. You got to master introductions. Now, the introductions are both copywriting and they're also you on the camera. To be able to capture attention, you need to have aura, you need to speak properly, and you need to speak with conviction. Have that as your introduction, and you need to explain with the copywriting, this is why you're watching this video, these are the benefits, this is our important accolades. We need 2-3 lines as well, which help introduce you quickly. For example, my name is Tate, I'm the former head of sales marketing, blah, 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 blah. Boom, boom, boom. Now you know who I am and why you should listen to me. You need to have those same things for yourself. You have that, you have the introduction, you install some mystery, you install some WTF factor as well. And sorry, we're reconnecting. Are we good now? Are we better now? Sorry, did we cut out?
I think, yeah, it cut out. I think that was a Wi-Fi thing, but was it on my end or was it on your end?
Might be me. So should I just repeat the how to get started with YouTube?
Just after the part where you said, I got up to like the hooks where you said, oh yeah, you should have that as well.
Yes. Okay. So we just say like it cut. All right. So it cut out. Let's continue on. So we need to focus on the hooks. We need to focus on the titles. Obviously, these are the most important things to get people to click. If you have a good hook, if you have a good title, YouTube is even recommending it, even if you have a small subscriber count. So you're going to feature on the Explore page, especially if it's a desired target audience that's going to be watching your videos. So you have the titles, you have the hooks. Introductions are important. Introductions are a mix of copywriting and having a good first line, a second line that compels people to keep watching, like intrigue, mystery, curiosity, and then later on introduction of your authority as well. 2-3 lines which basically state who you are, how I have it. My name is Tate, former head of sales and marketing at Tate, blah, 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 blah. Now you know who I am and why you should listen to me. And then what the benefit is for the actual viewer. You're going to learn in this video X, Y, and Z that's going to solve your problems. Keep watching for the next X, Y, or Z minutes. Boom. That's introduction. Now, that's the copywriting aspect. The other aspect is going to be your delivery. How well you speak it, how much conviction you have in your voice, your aura itself. That's the other aspect of the introduction. Then you go into actual video itself and you need to structure with logic ladders. People cannot connect the dots on things. If I tell you, for example, if you post YouTube videos, you're going to make money. You're going to become a millionaire. How? To us, it's obvious. We've been in the game. We understand how things work. But people who watch your videos do not connect the dots. You have to do it for them. You got to be like, all right, we post a video with this structure. And because it has this structure, it's going to gain views. It's going to gain the right targeted views. And then later on, these people are going to watch your video. They're going to be influenced by you and the things that you say. They're going to go and they're going to click in the description of your video, the link. They're going to go into your funnel. They're going to either opt in or going to watch your VSL, read your headline, read your landing page. They're going to book a call with you or directly check out. They book a call with you. They're going to call with you or one of your closers. Then they buy. Boom, 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 boom. Step A to step B to step C to step D. So step A therefore goes to step D. So you need to structure your videos like this. You need to make people understand things logically. You also need to call back on every single topic that you make and be like, okay, we talked about this because it relates to the title of the video. This is the benefit of what you just learned now. Keep going through the stuff. They get loads of value. You stack loads of IOUs. And then you have to do the proper CTA. If it's a video that doesn't have that many selling points, that doesn't handle that many objections, it's more of an introductory video. Rough CTA is appropriate. go watch my other videos, because again, your videos are part of like a larger web of videos. They watch one video, and because they learned how to build a high ticket funnel, for example, now they need to learn how to build their sales team. Okay, well, they have another video on that. Or now they need to learn how to optimize their conversions on their landing page. Okay, they watch the next video based on that, right? So they watch one video after the other. On a bigger, more value dense video, you obviously could have a harder CTA when you're like, okay, click on the link in the description if you have to work with us, book a call with us. We're going to go through your systems. We're going to go through your processes. We're going to find a way to solve your problems. Go through the link and we'll see you on the other side, right? But those are the videos that have more value, that handle more objections, sell more belief systems. You're going to have both of those on your channel. And ultimately, you want to make these videos as high value as possible so people can watch multiple videos and they become more convinced about what you do. And then later they go and book a call, enter the funnel, and you make money, right? So that's the basic structure of how to make a YouTube video. It's quite straightforward, but in execution, actually, the things that move the needle are going to be obviously how good the scripts are, how good you are on camera, how you're coming across. We give feedback to our clients. A lot of times they don't know exactly how to capture attention in the camera, how to look at it to make people believe them. Like one of the guys, he was like, he's holding like a pen. He had a pen. He was kind of like this. He's just like, so AI is going to be the next thing. It's going to be super powerful, and you need to listen now for the next 5 minutes. I'm like, bro, you are not going to convince anybody to watch your video if you're speaking like this. You don't even have belief in yourself, right? He changed that and his views went up. He started to close more sales instantly on the next video simply because of that one change. But that's specific feedback on every single person, which is why I can give you the frameworks, I can give you the systems. I can be like, look, you can obviously be confident, etc. But a lot of times you cannot give yourself feedback. You cannot look at yourself and be like, yeah, this is how I'm coming across. You need somebody else to tell you. You have no ego, and basically that's the kind of people that we work with, people who have no egos and people who want to improve and who are ready to receive feedback, right? So yeah, those are the needle movers in terms of the YouTube videos themselves. And you iterate, you make it better each time. You get feedback. You get feedback on the actual editing itself. The actual editing is important too. It's not the main thing. The main thing is going to be the value that you provide to the people watching the video, but also the editing is important. Visuals, B-rolls, music, it's all important as well, right? Everything together. Make banger YouTube videos, and then you have 20, 30 banger YouTube videos, which already can make you multi six figures a month, potentially even touching seven. Then you can push more content on short form, and you can scale even further, driving more traffic with Instagram and with TikTok. So that's the basic formula.
All right, and it looks like my camera changed here, but we'll just keep it going. So I assume you guys don't make a lot of lifestyle content, especially if we're aiming for super niche. So what type of videos are you guys actually posting? And how do you guys come up with the ideas and how do you know what types of videos to post?
Well, first of all, we take again our marketing plan with AI, with all the inputs required to make a perfect marketing plan. So you have all of the exact topics you need to make. Now, this doesn't mean that you will never do lifestyle topic videos, like depending on what your offer is. If your offer is high ticket, more niche, then of course you won't make as many. But if you have a lower ticket offer, more mass market appeal, then of course you're going to have to sell the lifestyle a bit more. So it really depends, right? If you're doing something that's like for example, we have a client who works in music production. He does coaching with that, and he doesn't really lifestyle. His only lifestyle really is going to be selling the dream of you can become an amazing producer and work with big artists and connect with them. That's his lifestyle, but it's kind of embedded into the actual techniques itself. Other people who run biz ops obviously need to show a bigger lifestyle, right? The people who buy biz ops are people who want to make money, who don't come from very privileged backgrounds, which are going to be people who are typically more broke, don't have that much money. So they're going to be inspired and they're going to be sold by lifestyle. Now, the interesting thing about lifestyle actually is that lifestyle is relative to the audience which you're marketing. So, for example, if somebody flexes us a day date or a day just, day date's more expensive, but a day just, for example, and they show it to us, and we're like, okay, whatever. Like we make that, like we easily can cover that multiple of those in a month. We don't care. That's not impressive to us. But if somebody shows us, oh, we have a Bugatti or we have a yacht, depending on who it is that you're marketing to, it's going to impress different people. A mega yacht is going to impress most millionaires because millionaires cannot afford mega yachts. Mega yachts cost in excess of $50 million, a lot of them, right? So your lifestyle flexing is always going to be relative towards your target audience that you're speaking to, and also the ability that you have to lifestyle flex on. So you cannot look down on lifestyle flexing and be like, this is like these are just gurus trying to flex on you or whatnot. If somebody actually does have these things and does live this lifestyle and it's impressive to you, right? Doesn't mean that because they have more money they're going to be impressive to you, but at a certain there's a certain thing in the world that you want, still that's going to be impressive to you, and if they can lifestyle flex that to you, they've caught you in the marketing. And that's just a game.
Yeah, for sure, that makes sense. And do you guys also, is there any tools you guys use when just in the process of creating the videos or ideating?
Really, not really. It's a human effort, because the knowledge that you have is going to be in your brain. Obviously, we use AI as much as possible. We make have the titles, and we tell AI, make 5 more titles. Okay, we don't like these titles, make 5 more titles. Boom. AI can help you with ideas. AI can give you a framework for the actual video itself. Okay, start with this. Here you can input, okay, want to talk about this in the introduction. Later on, we're going to structure. These are the topics I want to talk about, but how do I best structure them? Okay, AI can give you a framework for that. But the actual inputs itself, the knowledge, it's going to be from you. And this is why, creators come to us and they're like, can you just write the scripts for us? And we're like, no, we can't. Nobody can't. And if they say that they can't, they're straight up lying to you, and your videos are simply not going to perform as well, because it's not you. It's not your expertise. People cannot come into your brain. Even though when I was working at the co-rotated operation, I approximated 85-90% of the way that Tate spoke and write and wrote in text. I could not come 100%. I could not write his scripts for him. I could not do some specific copy that he wanted to do himself, because that was him. Luke couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Only Tate could do it. And it's going to be the same for any personal brand or business. So that's one of the things that's kind of non-negotiable. That's one of the high leverage tasks as a creator, as a marketer. As a creator more than anything, because a marketer is behind the scenes, but as a creator, that you have to be the one doing.
Okay, so I feel like we've covered the long form side. So what about short form, like clipping, content spamming? Because I know that there have been methods in the past, like the Andrew Tate method, where they had like maybe 50, 100 people, or actually they had thousands of clippers. But what is the strategy now that's working right now for content spamming and clipping?
So again, as you mentioned, obviously the co-rotated operation had the whole affiliate marketing system that was created by Luke, with all the clipping and all the clippers that we had in the team. They went over to the Luke Belmar operation. They had massive success there. A lot of them went over to Iman Gotchi. A lot of them went over to THR Trades and a bunch of different personal brands, right? The top performers were always the same guys. Now, the way they pushed content was through multiple accounts, which were branded with obviously the personal brand, a derivative of the personal brand, Tate Mindset, Tate Fitness, Solar Tate, like different topics related to Tate, related to the real world as well. Now, that's the old meta. That the downsides of this were you get people who are lazy. You cannot control all the marketing all the time, because you get people who make different content that you don't specifically want, and it's just a lot of people to manage. Right? It's a headache. People are imperfect. People will fuck up. So now the meta that's working is you have 2 to 4 derivative accounts with clippers on each of them, right? And they're the best possible quality. They're world class. So we have a training inside of Cloud Profit Scaling Secrets, which takes anybody, any clipper, from 0 to 100 level world class, because it was created by the #1 organic affiliate for Corporate and Luke Palmer and a bunch of other operations, crypto trading operations, promoting other personal brands as well. So he's the #1 short form content guy in the world. He created that training, and you can put him through, and then you can have those clippers for yourself. So 2 to 4 derivative accounts, officially branded, and they are innovating on new hooks, on new B rolls, on new metas, like what's working, what's the new brain rot thing, what's the new music. Like they're always on the tip of the spear of what's working, and they create your short form content on multiple accounts. They have their affiliate link in the bio. That's very official. For example, let's say pauloscales.com/grow, pauloscales.com/plan. It looks official. People can click on that. They can believe that's part of your accounts. They're followed by your main account on Instagram, and it's all superficial. Now, that's great. You're going to get great traffic from your main account, pushing short form content from derivative accounts ran by the best possible world-class editors as well. But now, if you want to supercharge it even more, you might think, okay, I need to hire an affiliate marketing system, or I need to go in and use WAP clipping or something like this, which is a complete scam, by the way. They just optimize for views. People can easily bot that. And again, views aren't conducive to sales necessarily. You can put a shaking ass beside me and it's going to get loads of views. But is it going to convert? Not really. People want to convert on the things that they hear about, the things that actually change their mind and improve their lives. So that doesn't work. The affiliate marketing system is too clunky. Most people can't even build it. They don't have the energy to be there every single day managing people. A much superior option has appeared now that my business partners work with. He's working with some Russian developers. And I'm careful about what I can say here on YouTube, just to not give it all away and to basically not get it patched. But essentially, you can take any content change the pixel, change the tone, the color of the video slightly. You can change the metadata, and you can post this infinite times. The algorithm does not detect it, and you can post it on a million different accounts. You have SOPs very detailed on how to set up hundreds of accounts on iPhone 7s ran by VAs super cheaply, and they can just keep posting these accounts. One account gets banned, doesn't matter. You have another one. You can set it up super cheaply, and you can do the craziest marketing possible. And you're not, who cares if you get banned, right? You funnel all that traffic towards your main accounts, and you take the same content that was already doing amazing on your main accounts, and you can post this a bunch of times. So that's the new meta. It's being developed. It's not yet completely released. We're working on some patches. We're working on some updates. But this essentially makes clipping systems, WAP, affiliate marketing, all of these clipping operations, these clipping armies, completely obsolete. Like, I'm sorry, but technology is simply much better than having a human do these things, right? These things auto scroll for you, they auto like, they auto comment, they auto post the reels, they auto post the stories. All you have to do is a few management with the VAs that can just press the buttons, and that's it. Like a human, undetectable by the algorithm. So that's a new meta now. That's what's going to take over. Technology is going to replace us. AI is going to replace us. And sorry, that's my music. I just pressed the play button on this. But
It's so
basically,
good.
we're going to get replaced. Right? You either adapt with the times, or you get left behind. That's just the name of the game.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. And I know we've been, we've been speaking about a lot of different stuff.
Yep.
In terms of, just before we end it off, like I wanted to kind of get into sales a little bit. And how do you guys, because you manage the sales team, is that right, for some offers?
Yeah, so right now I don't really do sales teams for offer. The one offer that we're working with now is just pure marketing stuff, pushing short form, pushing long form, handling the sales assets. Their sales operation for the one done for you offer that I'm working with is already functioning quite well. I'm not really working with that. Now, the people who come to us with a done with you basis and they bring us our sales teams to train up to actually optimize and improve the whole process, yeah, we work with them. But I don't do stuff for them, right? I just train them, I consult, and I give them my knowledge.
For sure. So for the sales assets then, because I think that's pretty relevant, what could you kind of explain to people, first of all, what are sales assets? And then how do you leverage them? Because I personally have built a lot of sales assets, like sales letters, like documents,
Yes, yes.
process overviews, all of this type of stuff. So could you just break down like some examples of what sales assets are?
Yeah, so fundamentally, a sales asset is something that you have that abstracts you from actually delivering that whole message in the sales asset yourself. So the whole purpose of a landing page in a VSL is that you don't have to say that by yourself all the time. It's like a YouTube video. A YouTube video is a form of a sales asset. It's all the same things you have to convince people of. In theory, you could sit down with anybody. That's your ideal target audience. That's a prospect for you. Without any assets, with just simply a roadmap of what you offer and how you can do it for them, and sit down with them for however long it takes 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and convince them on your offer and get them to pay you money. Right? With no sales assets. Now, sales assets help save you time. You create the VSL, you create the landing page, you create the questionnaires, you create like templates, you create things that you can give them, that sales letters, etc. They can read and then they can consume this themselves. They program their minds for that. Now, what was your question? You wanted to find out the importance of these, or?
Yeah, I mean, how can people leverage them and maybe some examples of sales assets that you guys have built?
Yeah, the leverage is very simple. You create them as you find out, okay, I'm saying the same thing all over again. Let me make a video about this. Let me include this in my VSL. Let me include this in my landing page. Let me include this in my pre-call video. Let me include this in my follow-up emails. Let me include these in my general newsletter emails that I provide, in my Telegram channel, in all my possible marketing angles. They're all sales assets, right? Now, your most powerful sales asset is going to be your VSL, and let's talk about this example as well. We've done very well with VSLs. The real world VSL did 9 figures. I've created written VSLs and directed them from head to toe, from starting them, from actually planning the shots, what emotions each part of the VSL needs to have. For example, at the start of the VSL, you need to capture attention, obviously, but when you're doing a crossroads close, when you're doing an urgency story, you need to have a more intimate tone of voice. You need to be perceived as more trustworthy with people. So there's a different feeling that you need to create on every single part of the VSL. And I planned all of that, and then my team edits it, and we created that. And every single VSL that we've touched that has had the profit traffic pushed towards it has done at least 8 figures. So we've done very well with that. And I have a framework step by step on how to create these VSLs. You start with obviously the hook, introduction, you the problem introduction, you qualify early as well, blah, 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 blah. You go through the whole thing. So that's how, if you create a very good VSL, that's going to be selling for you forever. That's your most powerful sales asset. People are going to go and watch it. They're going to go from zero to being a paying customer and a raving fan, as I like to call it. And so that's how you can leverage, really, just create very good sales assets based on the feedback and the market research that you have, right?
So maybe like based on a list of objections, frequently asked questions. I think also if you review like your DMs that you get and calls that you're on with your ICP, like would you say those are all good methods?
Absolutely. Put that all into synthesize that all with AI. Put all of the market research you have. Put that into the previous successes and put that into the context of the marketing plan. And that marketing plan is not exclusive to just making YouTube topics. You can make Instagram topics. You can make topics for TikTok, for every possible thing. You could also write a VSL, and you can put that VSL through that AI template. It's like a playbook you have now for your marketing. You can be like, okay, look, take this playbook I have for my marketing. Here's my VSL that I just wrote based on the framework. See if I missed any selling points. See how I can improve the angles. See if I'm missing any belief systems I need people to understand. See if any objections I didn't handle. Go through it and give me some feedback as a high level copywriter. AI goes through and it goes through your copy, it improves it, tells you what you need to change, and then you go through and you make the changes, and then you've missed nothing in your VSL. Your VSL is comprehensive, it's complete, it has all the selling angles, it's the right length, has the right it's the right emotions you need to make people feel. It even helps you be like, oh, film this as the sunset's going down, as you're walking away, as the yacht's moving away, to create the feeling that people are going to lose this opportunity. It's all planned, right? This is all Hollywood shit. Hollywood does it masterfully. Now we're just taking a slice of that and putting it into our own videos in order to have the desired emotional effect, because ultimately all sales are emotional. Everything is an impulse buy. You feel like this is going to provide you the dream state that you want to have, your desired transformation. You're at point A, you want to go to point B, and that point B is something you don't yet have. It's something you conceptualize. It's something that you almost idolize, and it's like your dream state. You can bridge that with the VSL, and you can make people feel like it's just in their grasp. All they have to do is pay. It's just money.
Yeah, 100%. You've put that very nicely there. And okay, so just the final question. What would you say, like, because you've been around in the game for years, you know, you've tested a bunch of different offers, you've seen a lot of stuff. So what would you say is the biggest lesson or principle that's helped you along the way? Like maybe the 20% that got you 80% of the results.
Yeah, I'd say people are everything, and I'd say the best networking, like all the opportunities that I had, the biggest opportunities I had were because of people. I started to work with Tate because I went to meet him in person in Miami. I paid money to go to one of his upsell events, right? The best way to network with people is just to be honest, is just to be completely straightforward with them. Say what's on your mind. Don't walk on eggshells around anybody. Obviously, there's a way to tell people things with tact, but people super respect honesty. Very few people are actually honest about stuff. I'd say that's the biggest thing that's been great for me, because it's allowed me to go speak to anybody and be respected by anybody, right? And respect is half the game, anyways.
100%. 100%. All right, cool. So if people want more of you, where can they find you?
They can go to cloudprofit.com. That's my website, and they can see my VSL. They can see my offer. They can go on youtube.com/@cloudprofit. That's my YouTube. They can go on Instagram.com. Cloud Profit everywhere, basically. Cloud Profit is spelled CLOUTPROFIT.
Amazing, dude. I mean, it's been great having you on here. Go check him out, and let's have a good one, man.
Go check out Paulo too. He's amazing. He's killing it.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day.
Cool. Nice.
All right.